Welcome back, everyone. Let's continue with our graph. We are now going to plot the graph using the given table. We said if one cell phone cover is made, it will cost Inga 6 rand. So in other words, we need to plot where these values meet. 6 rand will be that over there, the value there. And then if 2 cell phones are made, it will be 10 rand here. That will be our 10 rand. If 3 cell phones are made, it will cost Inga 14 rands. So 14 rands will just be that line, just under 15 rand over there. I hope you are also doing this with me, guys. If number of cell phone covers is 4, it will cost Inga 18 rands. 18 rands is somewhere there. And then if 5 cell phone covers are made, it will be 22 rand. It goes there. If 6 are made, it is now 26 rand. You can even tell that it is increasing. Then we plot the coordinates. We join the dots to form an increasing line. I'm sorry, guys. Remember, I'm using a free hand, so it's not going to look that perfect. But when you are sitting with your graph over there, it will look correct. So that is how our graph will be looking like. Okay, let's move on to our next section, which will be the linear graph. For a linear graph, the relationship starts at 0 and increases or decreases at a constant ratio between the dependent and the independent variable. The general formula for a direct proportion linear relationship is dependent variable is equals to constant ratio multiplied by the independent variable. Here is an example. James is selling caps. The graph below indicates the relationship between the number of caps sold and the income received. There is the graph. Let's make sense of this graph. If James is selling 0 number of graphs, there will be no income. But if James sells, I'm going to skip 5. Take a look at this one. If James sells 10 caps, they will get an income of 400 rand. What does this mean? Let's take our calculator. 400 divided by 10. It means James is selling 1 cap for 40 rand. This says to us, this graph here, it is an increasing graph. There will be that direct proportion relationship that we will see over there. Tobeka has a business of making and selling muffins. She sells 1 muffin for 5 rand. The graph represents the relationship between the number of muffins and their selling price. So that is our graph over there. We know here it's our x-axis, there it's our y-axis. Identify the type of a relationship represented by the graph. We can tell that there is that increasing relationship. When the number of values for the y-axis increases, so does the number of the values of the x-axis increases. So there is that linear relationship that is represented by this graph. Determine the formula that can be used to calculate the income. Remember from the given scenario, everyone, we were told that she is selling 1 muffin for 5 rand. So the formula will be income is equals to 5 rand multiplied by n. N will represent the number of muffins. Use the formula to calculate the income for 18 muffins. So that is our number. Remember we said income is equals to 5 rand multiplied by n. In this case, our n is 18. So let's see. We then take our calculators and say 5 multiplied by 18. I'm sure you got the same answer as mine, which is 90 rands. Let's look at the last section in this topic, which is the inverse graph. An inverse graph occurs when one variable increases by a factor, while the other variable decreases by that same factor. There will always be a constant product between two sets of variables. The graph of an inverse relationship is a decreasing curve line. Some mistakes that are normally committed when we have this kind of graphs, you tend to draw an increasing graph with a direct relationship. Hint is that, take note, an inverse graph has a decreasing relationship. It means it goes down. The graph below indicates the relationship on time taken by man to cut the lawn. Let's make sense of this graph. If one man is hired to cut the lawn, he will take 12 hours. But if 6 men are hired, it becomes less. They will take 2 hours. So you can see that the more men are, the lesser time they will take. And it is increasing because it starts from the highest value and it goes down. Susan works for a clothing company and she spends $2,400 per month on petrol. She asked her 4 colleagues to join her carpool due to the high petrol prices. The table below shows the relationship between monthly petrol costs and the number of people sharing the costs. Let's look at the table. If she is alone, she spends $2,400, but if she can get a second person, they will each pay $1,200. What type of a proportion is represented by the table above? There is that indirect proportion. Determine a formula that can be used to represent the cost per person when using the carpool. So we can say cost is equals to 2,400. I'm going to fix this one. So we're going to say 2,400 divided by n, where n represents the number of people in the car. Use the formula to calculate the missing value A and B. So we say cost is equals to 2,400 divided by, remember we are looking for A, so we will divide by 3. Therefore, A will be equals to 2,400 divided by 3. It means they will each contribute 800 rand. Let's calculate for B. We're going to use the same formula. We then say cost is equals to 2,400. In this case, we know each person will contribute 600 rand. So B will be equals to 2,400 divided by 600. So 4 people will each contribute 600 rand. Use the above table to represent the information on the graph. All right, let's move. Our x value is 1, so the graph will start there. If one person is in the car, they will each pay 2,400. So the dot, it will be there. I'm going to make it nice and big so that you can see. If 2 people are in the car, they will each contribute 1,200. So 1,200, it is there again. So you can tell it's going down. If 3 are in the car, we said it will be 800 rands. So it's here. If 4 are in the car, it is now 600, just there. And then if 5 are in the car, it will be 480. Let me fix this one. It should just be above 500, just there. And then this one, it will be 480, it will be here. Let me put this one back. Then we can connect the dot. You see it is decreasing. Nice and round. Then it will go that way. Okay, I hope you enjoyed today's lesson and I will see you next time.